Good morning, respected teachers, dear friends, and all gathered here in the presence of God. The theme before us today is, Lord, make me useful for every good work. This simple prayer is a powerful reminder that our lives are not meant to be lived only for ourselves, but for service to others. Each of us is blessed with unique gifts, our talents, our skills, our kindness, and even our struggles. But these blessings find their true purpose only when we use them to do good. To be useful for every good work means to open our hearts and hands wherever God places us. It might be as small as helping a classmate, sharing a smile, or speaking a kind word. It could also be as great as standing up for truth, working hard for our families, or serving society with honesty and love. No act of goodness is ever wasted because it reflects the light of God through us. But to be truly useful, we must stay humble. A tool in the hands of a skilled worker cannot boast of its own strength. It becomes powerful only when guided. In the same way, when we let God guide our actions, He can use us to build peace, spread joy, and heal brokenness around us. So this morning, let our prayer be, Lord, shape my heart, guide my steps, and make me useful for every good work. May we not seek greatness in applause, but in service. May we not wait for big opportunities, but start with the little acts of love we can do today. With this prayer, let us begin the day with faith and purpose. Thank you, and may God bless us all. 1. Prayer for guidance. 2. Humility and service. 3. Using talents wisely. 4. Small acts of kindness. 5. Being led by God's will. 6. Living with purpose. 7. Spreading love and goodness. Prayer for guidance is the first and most important step in becoming useful for every good work. Human strength alone is often weak, limited, and influenced by pride or selfish desires. But when we sincerely pray for God's guidance, we allow His wisdom to lead us beyond our own limitations. Through prayer, our hearts are softened, and we become more sensitive to the needs of others around us. A prayerful spirit teaches us to pause, listen, and discern what is right before acting. It protects us from rushing into decisions driven by anger, fear, or impatience. Instead, it directs us toward choices that build peace, spread kindness, and reflect God's love. Prayer does not change God's will, it changes us so that we can align ourselves with His plan. It reminds us daily that we are not alone in our efforts, and that God equips those who ask Him for strength and wisdom. With prayer, even the smallest task gains meaning because it is carried out with a heart connected to God. When we begin each day with a simple prayer for guidance, we invite God to shape our thoughts, our words, and our actions. In this way, we are prepared to face challenges with courage and opportunities with humility. Prayer opens the door for God to work through us, making us useful vessels ready to serve in ways both great and small, and to carry out good works with a spirit of faithfulness and love. Humility in service is a quality that truly allows a person to be useful in every good work. When we approach service with pride, seeking recognition or applause, the focus shifts away from the act of goodness and rests on ourselves. Such service is short-lived and lacks the pure intention that God desires. Humility teaches us to serve not for our own gain, but for the benefit of others and for the glory of God. It reminds us that no work is too small or beneath our dignity if it helps another person. A humble heart is willing to listen, to understand, and to place the needs of others before personal comfort or convenience. It does not seek positions of honor, but finds joy even in silent sacrifices. Humility also protects us from discouragement, because the measure of our work is not in human praise but in God's sight. When we serve humbly, we become instruments of peace, harmony, and unity, allowing love to shine through our actions. Humility is not weakness, it is strength under control, the ability to do good without demanding credit. It keeps our hearts gentle and open, making us more approachable and trustworthy in the eyes of others. Through humility, we recognize that all talents and opportunities are gifts from God, entrusted to us for the good of all. By embracing this spirit, every act of service becomes meaningful, sincere, and powerful in touching the lives of those we encounter. Using talents wisely is one of the greatest ways to become useful for every good work. Each person is blessed with unique gifts, whether it is intelligence, creativity, leadership, compassion, or even the ability to encourage others. These talents are not meant to remain hidden or used only for personal benefit. They are given so that we contribute positively to the world around us. When we use our talents wisely, we allow them to grow, multiply, and bless others. A talent that is ignored or misused eventually loses its value, but a talent that is shared becomes a light for others. Wisdom in using talents also means knowing when and how to apply them. Not every situation requires strength or intelligence. Sometimes patience, kindness, or silence can be the most powerful use of what we have been given. Using talents wisely also involves discipline and responsibility. A gifted person who is careless or arrogant may waste opportunities, while one who is humble and diligent can achieve great things. It is also important to remember that talents are not limited to big achievements alone. They can shine in small acts of daily life. A smile, a song, a helping hand, or a kind word can be just as valuable as great inventions or leadership roles. When we dedicate our talents to God and use them with sincerity, they become powerful tools to uplift others, bring hope, and create goodness that lasts far beyond our own lives. Small acts of kindness may seem simple and ordinary, yet they carry an extraordinary power to touch lives and spread goodness. Often, people wait for big opportunities to serve or to make a difference, forgetting that it is the little gestures done daily that create lasting impact. A smile given to someone who feels unnoticed, a kind word spoken to lift a heavy heart, or a helping hand offered to someone in need can change the course of a person's day. These small acts do not require wealth, status, or great effort, but they require a willing heart. Kindness also multiplies, for when one person experiences it, they are inspired to pass it on to others, creating a chain of goodness. What may feel like a small deed to us might be the very encouragement another person was praying for. Small acts of kindness also build trust, unity, and peace within communities. They remind us that humanity is bound together by compassion and that no gesture of love is ever wasted. Even the smallest seed, when planted, grows into a tree that gives shade and fruit. In the same way, acts of kindness, though tiny in the moment, bear fruit that blesses lives for years to come. They are a reflection of God's love working through us in simple yet powerful ways, proving that usefulness is not measured by size, but by sincerity of heart and the willingness to care for others. Being led by God's will is the foundation of living a life that is truly meaningful and useful for every good work. Human understanding is often limited, and our desires can sometimes lead us toward selfishness or paths that do not bring lasting peace. But when we seek to be guided by God's will, we align ourselves with a purpose greater than our own. God's will is not always revealed in grand or dramatic ways. Often, it is found in the quiet nudges of our conscience, in the wisdom of Scripture, and in the peace that comes from prayer. Following His will requires patience, trust, and surrender, because it may not always match our personal plans or ambitions. Yet God sees the bigger picture and knows what is best for us and for those around us. When we allow His will to lead us, our actions become more fruitful, our decisions more meaningful, and our lives more peaceful. It is through this surrender that we are protected from pride, fear, and confusion, and guided instead toward truth, love, and service. Being led by God's will also means accepting challenges as opportunities for growth, and blessings as responsibilities to share. It turns ordinary life into a journey of purpose where every step contributes to something good. When we trust His direction, we can walk confidently, knowing that our efforts, no matter how small, will be used to bring light, healing, and hope to the world. Living with purpose gives direction and meaning to life, allowing every action to contribute towards something greater. Without purpose, people often drift through life without clarity, chasing temporary pleasures or material gains that leave the heart empty. But when one chooses to live with purpose, Each day becomes an opportunity to grow, to serve, and to make a difference. Purpose is not only found in big dreams or great achievements. It can be present in the way we treat others, the sincerity with which we work, and the love we pour into even the smallest tasks. A purposeful life is guided by values and anchored in faith, reminding us that everything we do can have eternal significance. When we live with purpose, we do not waste our talents, time, or opportunities. Instead, we channel them into actions that create goodness and uplift others. Purpose also gives strength during challenges because it keeps us focused on the greater goal rather than temporary struggles. It teaches us perseverance, patience, and dedication. Such a life becomes inspiring to others, encouraging them to also seek meaning beyond themselves. True purpose is not self-centered, it extends outward, making us instruments of peace, kindness, and hope. By living with purpose, we become useful in ways that last far beyond our own lifetime, leaving behind a legacy of faith and love. It transforms ordinary living into extraordinary service, where every choice, word, and deed reflects a higher calling. Spreading love and goodness is one of the most powerful ways to live a life that is useful for every good work. Love is the foundation of all true service, for without love, even the greatest actions lose their value. When we choose to spread love, we reflect the very nature of God, who is love itself. Love is not limited to words. It is shown in patience, forgiveness, generosity, and compassion. It is seen in how we treat those who are weak, forgotten, or in need of encouragement. Spreading goodness flows naturally from a loving heart, because love inspires kindness and motivates us to think of others before ourselves. A small gesture of love can heal wounds, rebuild hope, and bring joy where there was sorrow. Goodness, when shared, becomes like a light that cannot be hidden, brightening not only the lives of those around us, but also our own. Spreading love and goodness also has a ripple effect. When one person experiences genuine care, they are more likely to pass it on, creating a chain of positive change in families, schools, communities, and even nations. This way, love grows and goodness multiplies. It does not require wealth or power, only a willing heart. When we live in this way, our presence itself becomes a blessing, reminding others that goodness still exists in the world. Choosing to spread love and goodness makes every moment meaningful and turns our lives into living prayers of service and hope. In conclusion, the prayer, Lord, make me useful for every good work, is not just a request, but a way of life. It calls us to seek God's guidance, to serve with humility, to use our talents wisely, to value small acts of kindness, to follow His will, to live with purpose, and to spread love and goodness wherever we go. If we carry these values in our hearts, our lives will not only be meaningful for ourselves, but will also be a blessing to others. May we begin each day with this prayer on our lips and allow our actions to reflect it in everything we do.